were up very late, obviously covering the events in Oakland, and yeah, we'll obviously see how things develop from there. Just some quick housekeeping notes first. We do have a hashtag, so we're using Occupy the News, and there is a guest Wi-Fi network, but please, if you don't need to use it, just abstain from that, just so we don't get totally overloaded. We're also live streaming the event. You can see on our homepage, there's a link to a Storify story, which has a link to the live stream. So, I guess I didn't even say who I am. First of all, I'm Bert Herman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Storify. And I also wanted to introduce my co-founder, Xavier, whose brainchild this event was initially, to talk a little bit about why we're doing it.
Thank you. So thank you very much for coming tonight. So I'm Xavier, co-founder of Storify. And I really wanted to make this event tonight because there are, as you all know, there are thousands of people now in the streets, anywhere from Grace, New York, but also not so far from here in Oakland, 10 miles away. And all those people want really to express themselves. And technology really enabled them to do that. They can now send tweets, pictures, videos. It's great. They can really express themselves and tell the world what they want to say. But technology is not enough. And we really need, in this new world where everybody through technology has become a reporter, we really need more than ever people like you, journalists, editors, bloggers, people who can make sense of all of these voices, who can turn them into stories and tell the world what's happening. There are so many, because the world needs to know what's happening. Your audience wants to know, the world needs to know, but also, and maybe more importantly, tomorrow the world will want to remember what happened. And so for events like yesterday, there were many things that happened. We don't want that to be lost in the noise, to be lost and don't remember. So this is really something that we believe it's really important, and so we are really excited to be able to hold this event tonight, and we really thank you a lot for coming here tonight. And also I really want to thank also the 7 journalists who came here tonight, who's going to share with us the way they cover those events. And I'm really sure, and I hope that actually tonight we all learn great tips and tricks on how better cover those kind of events, and how can we all help the world understand better what all those voices want to express. So thank you very much, and thank you to all the people who are going to talk tonight.
So the format for tonight, we're going to kind of do like a demo night of journalism. So we have an amazing group of people, 7 people from all sorts of different types of media organizations, and we're going to kind of do really quickly like lightning talks, like 3 minutes each basically, where people are going to talk quickly how they're covering Occupy movement, what they've learned, what they're doing, and then after that we'll open it up to questions, have a discussion with all of us. Again, we do want this to really be an open discussion and be interactive, and that's why you all came here, and we definitely want to encourage that as much as possible. So with that, I will probably just dive in and introduce each person as we go, and then they'll all be back up here for questions at the end. So first up, we'll have Deborah Peterson from the San Jose Mercury News. She's a senior editor for mobile and social media.
Hello, everybody.
Actually, if you want to stay there, or do you want to come up here?
First of all, I want to say thank Bert and Xavier for having us. We love Storify at the Bay Area News Group in San Jose Mercury News, and we use it all the time. So the first thing I want to say is our first, still our best social media is our journalists who are out there covering it, and sometimes risking their limbs and getting sprayed with mace and things like that, and tear gas and worse things. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we use social media to deliver to our readers, and Angela is going to talk more about how we use it for reporting. So this is our landing page for Occupy Oakland, and we have live Twitter feeds going on there. Can you put that down just a little bit? And here's our photos and our live blog. And further down, you will see some of our Storifys. Will be in the list there. So we're doing Storifys. And we also were doing a live stream of photos coming in, and we were also streaming video. So that is our first page. The day that Tent City happened, we did a Storify, and then we broke out another one when we realized that Scott Olson was the story, the side story. So we did 2 Storifys on that day. So that's one of the examples of the Storifys that we used. And of course, we used them on the general strike yesterday. Did another one today. And this is our live stream of tweets, as you can see here. And you will see that we use, and Andy will talk a little bit more about this. I mean, basically what we're doing is we have our reporters out there tweeting, we're retweeting them, and retweeting them on our major sites, because we have, of course, Twitter accounts for all our major newspapers, and then we have probably about 12 reporters out there covering it, and within being there and also from the office. And we have someone manning kind of Twitter and retweeting and tweeting along the way. And the other, we also use Facebook. Facebook is not as timely, where we post our stories on Facebook, but I don't find it as timely for an event like this as Twitter. We use Tumblr, and what we did in this case was we took a Tumblr, we have a Tumblr account, which is a great display for our photos, but we also made a Tumblr kind of copycat page on our website. So for people who weren't using Tumblr, they were seeing those photos on our website. And there's a lot more I can talk about, but I'm sure I'm over 3 minutes at this point. So I'll talk a little bit about Google+. We try to use Google+ to post our stories and to have a conversation, but I'm still finding it is much stronger for our business reporters because it's still a very large business audience, even though hopefully that's going to change. Thank you.
Tasmin from Another Journal.
Hi. I'm actually going to talk specifically about how we use Storify in the newsroom. And I would be talking about Storify even if I weren't at Storify, because the truth is it's been a game changer for us in how we do breaking news. And it's been really interesting for us because obviously Mother Jones is a national publication, but Oakland is in our backyard. We've gotten into really deep reporting on this topic, and Storify has been there with us every step of the way. If you just want to go ahead. Do you want to just do the full screen display, actually? That makes it easier. If you go to view. And view slideshow. There you go. Yeah. So one way I've been explaining how we use Storify is it's like a notebook for our reporters, except it's a notebook in real time. So the stuff that would have just stayed, in their own pages is actually now available to anybody who wants to see some of this great stuff that otherwise would get lost, would get left on the cutting room floor. Go ahead. And the problem with Occupy Wall Street is, it's a leaderless movement. It is planned and executed on the fly. It's playing out independently in thousands of cities around the world at the same time. And there are no PR flags. There is no central body. There are a limited number of journalists on the ground. And, obviously this is actually not a problem for us, but I was talking to our developer, Luke, the other day, and he used the word asynchronously, and I thought this was a really cool word, and I wanted to know what it meant, so I looked it up, and what I realized is we're using Storify in an asynchronous way, because it's allowing us to be in lots of places using lots of different media in one story. Go ahead. Basically, our workflow is, it's familiar to any of you who use Storify, right? I mean, we have a reporter who is feeding Twitter, and he's talking to us on the phone, us being editors who are also, obsessively monitoring TwitPic and Livestream and local news, and all of this is feeding one story. I just want to talk about the phone part of it. I am actually surprised at how much I have been talking on the phone with our reporters in New York and in Oakland and DC and a couple other places where we've had them. At first I thought, okay, Storify is all about like, Twitter and aggregating like social media stuff, but actually we use it, I think, in a different way from a lot of other people. We just use it the way you would use an article. Like I actually end up writing in Storify. It's like paragraphs at a time. So you go ahead. Okay, so show and tell.
Actually, you're almost done.
Oh, okay. So then let's just quickly look at some of these. This is funny. This is Occupy Sesame Street. This is hilarious. You can go ahead. Yeah, you can keep going. This was our most popular Storify. This was Josh Harkinson, our reporter in New York, used Storify to tell these really amazing little story vignettes. And if you haven't seen them, like I really recommend checking it out. Yeah, and if you just want to go through, I'll take it from here. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Next, Angela from the Oakland Tribune.
So I think since I've been only the first non-editor so far, since I'm the reporter, I'm going to wait until the pages get up. But the links that I chose were how I use social media and Storify also in particular to tell the stories. The thing I like about Storify is that it addresses one of the complaints that the people in the Occupy movement have made, is that it's, we're sensationalizing, we're using their story, we are manipulating what they say and so forth. So I'm able to actually just use their words and use other people's words and use their images and really sort of show what they are saying. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. The first time I did a Storify, I had some profanity, which didn't go over too well. But it was when the 3-year-old was shot on International Boulevard, and that really created such outrage that people were so angry. I thought using some profanity was called for. But the standards are the same for Storify for us as they are for print. So if it doesn't go in the story, it doesn't go in Storify. What I also like, and I chose a variety of different, I'm not seeing them up there though. Okay. Oh yeah, I see the Storify one. So I chose a story, I chose a Storify, and I think I chose 2 stories because in some ways I feel really limited when I'm writing to get the energy of what's out there. And that I can use Twitter for that, and then that goes into Storify as well. I use those 2 a lot. But when I write in print, sometimes things get sort of, they just aren't as exciting, and you don't get the same energy and the immediateness of what's happening out there. And that may be just because we're on deadline and we can't really do a lot of narrative writing, so you have to smoosh it down into 12 inches. So I really like the immediacy of the social media, and like I said, Twitter and Storify are the 2 that I've been using a lot in this regard. So, okay, so did we not have the stories? Okay. Yeah. So I have 3 links?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. I guess if you open it, you would see the comparison, and they just look different. One just looks less energetic than the other, so that's why I chose them. I think that's about it.
Who is the web editor from East Bay Express?
I'm actually the web editor and the staff writer, so I've sort of been on both sides. I've spent a lot of time down at the Occupy camp, and then I've also sort of been on the other end of it, sitting in our office, sort of curating everything through Storify. So we have a really, really small staff, and we're an all-weekly, and we're really not very well equipped to cover breaking news, but Storify makes it a lot easier. Basically, our plan of action has been to send as many reporters and interns out at any given time that we can get. And our system, which sounds crazy, is that they all text me their tweets. And we do that because in the past, when we've had everyone tweeting from our account, if 2 people are in 2 different places, you'll get really conflicting tweets. Like we've had our tweet be like 1 minute, it's so empty here, and then the next minute, like, it's full of people, and then people tweet back at us, and they're like, what the hell? So everyone, and that way we also, we don't repeat ourselves. So everyone has been texting me their tweets, and then I've been tweeting from the East Bay Express feed. And then at the same time, what we've been doing is we've been taking all of those tweets and putting them into Storify's. Yesterday we made 3 different ones, so people's delicate scrolling fingers didn't get injured. So we've been sort of taking all of our own tweets and putting them into Storify, and then also grabbing everything else we can, and just trying to get it all together in a way that makes some sense. So this one was really cool. We did one on the national media coverage of Occupy Oakland, which was, I think that's actually been our most read Storify, which is kind of funny because it was all other people's stuff. So we just took everything we could. We did a lot of searches through like various channels on Storify and just found, tweets from, Keith Olbermann and Brian Stelter of the New York Times and all this stuff, and sort of smushed it all together. And it was really cool, and that was something that we totally wouldn't have been able to do in any coherent way without Storify. So that's basically how we've been using it. I'm probably not out of time, but I don't think that's the same.
Susan Murniff from Oakland Local.
Well, I was going to ask if you guys knew us, so that makes me feel really, really good. Thanks. So Oakland Local just turned 2 years old. We're a nonprofit news and community site in Oakland, California. We have no paid full-time staff. And if you want to give us money to help support what we're doing, we're fundraising to cover Occupy Oakland. But we woke up on Tuesday after the police brutality and discovered that we were in the middle of what was becoming a national story. We decided to really go for it. And part of what makes us so interesting is that we're a combination of professional reporters who work off a news budget and write stories. We publish 3 to 5 stories a day. But then we have this huge outpouring of community voices, content that we find and curate and republish, or people who come to us over the transom and want us to publish stories. So we created an Occupy page. This is a story from the Columbia Journalism Review about our coverage, but we have an Occupy page that our tech guy built, and we have Hive Mind. So the tech guy built us a Drupal page that's aggregating all the Flickr feeds, all the Twitter feeds, and then all our coverage. We've had 85,000 people come in the past month to look at our coverage. That's like a 20% increase from usual because of the national interest. And we're very much about nuance and authenticity. So what we're doing that I think is interesting is we're running pieces by people inside the movement. There's a grad student named Aaron Beatty, Zazingu, who's been writing these fabulous, really reflective pieces about being in the march and being at the port. We've been publishing him as a community voice. Storify has been great for us because not only can we blog about things that we can't be at, like Pop Life being a finalist on America's Got Talent, right? I live blog that. But also things where we don't advocate. Because we're a nonpartisan news source, we can't put up every single voice that we think is interesting. We can put up op-eds by people who want to write them or opinion pieces that reflect different points of view, but Storify and Scribble It Live have been really great tools for us to be able to actually put up viewpoints that we don't endorse because we're presenting them so directly. So, we've had a lot of really great Twitter feeds, photographs, Facebook blog posts we're able to fold in, and I think the first time we even picked up some of the Mother Jones coverage when the story started to break and reran some of it for our audience. So, we are all about the fact that this is a grassroots movement, and we do not want to stand in the way of people being able to speak for themselves. We also want to provide the reflection and the analysis that good journalism can bring to the table. And we have a QR code that my troublemaker buddy and co-founder Amy Guerin made, and people should come up and bleep this because it actually is a mobile-friendly view, and we're all about mobile. 11% of our audience is mobile feature phones, so that's also another factor of how we build what we do. And
people in the street. The media needs to go to them.
Yeah. Well, I know this is something Amy has long been very passionate about. So yeah, next up is Carly Schwartz, who is the San Francisco editor for the Huffington Post.
Hi guys. So we're relatively new on the local media scene. We launched in July, so Occupy Oakland has really been our big chance to kind of showcase what we can do on kind of a more national scale. But we have a really scrappy team. There's only 3 of us in the San Francisco office, so we've been kind of, and one of them was on vacation last week, is in the audience now. But, so really it was just kind of the 2 of us when the violence erupted on Tuesday night, and it was pretty crazy. But I guess some of the things that have been really helpful for us is our live blogging tool. We have this great team of reporters in DC who kind of stay on what's going on nationally in the Occupy movement, and we supplement it with tidbits from the scene. We try to make sure if something's going on to at least have one of us in the field and one of us kind of being the computer monkey and making sure that we're interacting with people on Twitter and feeding our tweets into the live blog and feeding our live blog into the tweets and, you know, kind of back and forth there. We've also found interacting with other members of the media has been really helpful. I try to kind of retweet our partners and follow all the reporters at the Chronicle and at the Trib. Angela, I've been following you, and it's been, you know, incredibly helpful. We also have our Occupy Big News page, which is this. It's kind of the Huffington Post platform allows you to just tag certain stories. I'm sure the other members of this panel have similar programs in their content management systems, but we try to direct people to this page as much as possible, and it's just kind of a roundup of anything that has to do with the Occupy protests in the Bay Area, in Oakland, in, you know, San Jose, San Francisco, and then there's a big Occupy Wall Street big news page for our main Huffington Post as well. And then what else? And then Submit Your Own has been huge for us. We have a Submit Your Own photos and video tool, and we try to push that every day, at least throw the slideshow into at least one of the stories that we do to get, you know, just local aspiring photographers. I mean, I'm sure all of you have seen how excited people are to share their work and to get it out there, so we really try to make that an accessible platform for them. I just showcased one of my best friends was out there yesterday. She took a whole bunch of pictures, so she was my featured photographer of the day. I've never used Storify before, but I will darn well start. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So I think that's
And last, Ian Hill from KQED.
Hello. I don't know about you guys, but I come to these things, and particularly I'm the last speaker, I'm jealous of what everybody else is doing, and I wish I had like 5 or 6 more people that we can do all this stuff. So, God bless all of you. You're doing a great job. We talked a lot tonight about the tech aspect of things, and you know, everybody in this room, probably the people watching the live stream, you guys have already bought into social media. You know, I could come to you and ask, why do you do it? Why are you involved in Twitter? Why are you involved in Facebook? You probably might not even have an answer for me. You just do it because you know it's the right thing. But when we all go back to our news organizations, you guys know this, you're going to have to convince your editors, your publishers, your producers, whoever, to give you the time to use this stuff, or you're going to have to go rogue a little bit and do it yourself. So I'm going to tell you why we do it. I'm going to read you our mission statement real quick. KQED is for everyone who wants to be more. Our television, radio, digital media, and educational services change lives for the better and help individuals and communities achieve their full potential. KQED serves the people of Northern California with a community-supported alternative to commercial media. So you heard a couple words in that, community, a couple times, and be more. Social media allows us to do that. It allows us to be more to the community and allows us to be part of the community in a way we've never had access to before. So that's why we're there, and that's why we're trying to do as much as we can with social media. And right now, we're still very much in the stage of just kind of throwing things to the wall and see what works. I mean, obviously, with some guidance, we're trying to serve our audience as best we can, but we're willing to try anything if it looks cool. I'm willing to try anything if it looks cool and see if it works. So the way we've approached Occupy Oakland, we have a very small staff as well, and their primary goal is to produce 18 newscasts a day So getting them to produce social media, getting it worked into their workflow is a challenge. So a lot of times it's just me. So what I did the first day, October 25th, automatically go to Storify. This has been my go-to resource just for putting as much content, community-created content, information out there to serve the public. I had signed up for the Occupy Oakland text messages. I got a text at 3. I was up at 4. I commute from Stockton anyway, so I'm up at 4 every morning. It wasn't a big deal. And just put as much as we could out there, and it did really well. And we embedded it in our news blog. So that was Tuesday. We kept meeting, kept looking at what's going on, and we kept live blogging. And we kept applying different, if you stop there, we'll just scroll back up a little bit. I'm sorry, scroll down a little. Right about there, if you look at the November 2nd protest coverage window. Other ways we're using social media. Some of the people in here, Mother Jones, the reporters have done such a phenomenal job. You guys have, a lot of you guys, Merck News has done some great work. We put specific Twitter feeds, Twitter handles into a Cover It Live feed. Instead of running it like a chat, just ran it like a streaming Twitter feed. Worked really well. If you scroll down just a little more. Scroll down. Okay, so we just have the general Twitter feed as well. It's a Hootsuite embed because our website does not play well with JavaScript, unfortunately. Developers, you guys should work on that. So this was I believe this was yesterday. Okay, there's one more thing I want to show you really quick. There was another. I sent a link for a thing called Tackable, and Luke's in the audience. Right there. Yeah. Oh, click on that if you would. So this is how we solicited user-generated photos. It's a brand new app. It's iPhone only. One of the things, you guys are in the Bay Area, do everything you can to reach out to startups like Storify, like Tackable. Everyone that's out there, they're willing to talk to you. I know someone from SoundCloud's here. Man, work those partnerships because you are the only news organizations in this country that have those resources, people. Get on that, and you will be ahead of everybody else. I think it's still in beta. But we got like 300 photos of user-generated photos from Occupy Oakland. And Luke's here, and if you want to ask more about it, I can tell you more about it too, so I won't end. Thanks.
Thank you. That was all really fast. I appreciate everybody going so quickly through everything.